Maybe. These are dangerous. Okay. And they're called blonde brownies.
In the week after, you're coming to us. Seek money sometime.
Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples of the orchard. This class meets in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, the center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe Margaret Vogel, blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Sakluria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski.
Either works.
We're a Friday night, right?
Okay, so we got about 18 inches of snow here.
Yeah.
In Springfield, Longmeadow, about 18 inches.
About 18 inches.
More in higher elevations. We're in a valley.
How about 20, 22?
22, 23.
Terrible.
Okay. As long as my snowblower works, I say, bring it on, baby. My snowblower didn't work.
Didn't work?
No. I went yesterday, turned it on, nothing.
Who did it for you? How'd you do?
So yesterday I called somebody, I have a number, he came, and today a neighbor came, and I bailed out my neighbors plenty of times. In this house, in the old house.
Right.
So anyway, so my neighbor came and blew me out. Okay.
It's the first time I was out of the house in 2.5 days.
Did you make your doctor appointment yesterday morning?
No. Not even close. I didn't get plowed out.
I was at work. I was at work right in the
You just slept over.
No, I was there. 9 o'clock. The courts are open yesterday
Yeah.
and today.
I didn't get plowed out yesterday. I didn't get plowed out until after 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And today he finished around 11. So Elaine could go to, she went to school.
Oh,
She had
look
class
who's here.
today.
We're good, of course.
Look at who's here.
Now he's here.
Look who's here. He
Ah.
came for the cookie.
Is there a piece left for him?
There's a cookie left.
No, we're not. There's nothing left for. No, there's nothing left.
That's for him.
Rudy, it
nothing
was
in-
worth your while.
The best cookies ever.
Yep. I had,
Did you get my message?
Yeah. Thank you.
thank you for coming, Rudy.
Tell him. Yeah.
Wait. Okay. That's good and hot. So we're at page 984. And we're at the bottom. And what are we talking about? Who remembers?
I wasn't here last night.
You weren't here?
No,
You missed a good one.
I was.
You're getting ready to go to,
I was
the
getting
Cape.
Go to the Cape, right, Joe?
You went to the Cape.
Yeah.
Okay. Transforming light.
Actually, I don't know if it's the bottom or
Rooms,
the
money.
top. Maybe the top.
Okay, maybe.
I don't remember. I just remember it was very good.
I think it was the top. I think we would have finished at the top of 94. I don't think we did that.
Like the star, like the descendant scene.
Did we?
What? We had yad. And 2 yads, 1 yad
Yeah,
is
but-
14, 2 yads is 28.
But did we do the top?
We did.
We did the Yuds?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay. Yes.
I just remember it was very good.
Yes.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you hear us in there? The large dalid alludes to how the partsuf of Leah is opposite that of Rachel. Zer Anpin gives her dalid for the purpose of coupling. This is the mystical meaning of the 4 times the word truth occurs in the blessing, true and certain, as has been explained elsewhere.
How many times?
4.
4 times. Can we look that up now?
Go ahead. I have no idea.
Yeah, you don't know.
I have no idea. Just tell him I gave him the number. He didn't come until 7:50.
Okay. This is in the Siddur. After the Shema in the morning, Nancy, if you have a Siddur, I'm not sure which edition you have, but we're looking up. Page 48, 46, 48 in the classical edition of the Siddur, used in Chabad House, or if you have the newer one, it's right after the Shema. Done already.
Done.
We're just starting.
Emet. In the Shema.
No, not,
Okay, after the Shema.
After the
Yeah,
Shema.
Right after the Shema.
Yep.
well,
48.
40, right after the Shema.
Good night, gentlemen.
Right.
good night. I'll see
Wait,
you,
wait, with the new song?
maybe Thursday.
The what?
Wait, so it's with the new song, The Redeemed People?
No.
No, 48.
After
You're on 50.
After the Shema. The third-
That's right after the Shema, okay.
No, yeah,
Okay,
right
go
after.
ahead. I listen, go ahead.
Yes. He said good news.
Thank
What
you.
is-
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So immediately after the Shema, we say emes v'yatziv.
Yeah.
True and certain, established and enduring, and so on and so forth. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And we keep going, and a few lines later it says, verily, the God of the universe is our king.
MS,
And I guess verily,
Means MS also.
MS is also. This
Is
word-
MS.
Yeah.
right.
right, what other word is like verily? I don't know. Not vicissitude.
No.
No.
No. Okay. Verily, 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 verily. Life is but a dream. Okay, we go on.
so-
That's 2. And then
Oh.
on 49, excuse me,
Yeah.
the third line,
MS.
Emes Shatu Hashem Elokeinu. Truly, you are the Lord our God and the God of our fathers. And then it says, you have always been the help. And then Emes Ata Hu Emes Ashrayish. Truly, happy is the man who heeds your commandments. And then it
Where's
says,
that? Where's
in the
that?
middle of the page.
Oh, the
Also,
middle.
also you got MS at the top
Where?
of the MS in truth.
MS
Devar
Ashra-
tov v'ka'ayam be'emes.
Okay.
There's another MS.
There's another one.
also MS Ashrei
Yes. Where's that? Truly, happy is the man.
4 lines down, yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one is
MS Hatu Rishon. No, MS Hatahu Adon.
Emes Atahu Adon Lamecha.
Lamecha.
Truly, you are the master of your people.
MS Hatahu Rishon.
Truly, you are the first and you are the last. More?
MS Mitzrayim.
Redeemed us from
Yeah,
Egypt.
MS
Truly, you
Mitzrayim.
redeemed us from Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then more than 4.
I think that takes us to the end.
Much more
No, but we
than
have 4 right here in the middle.
In that one, we got 4.
You got
The
more
last
than
4.
Just
Right.
in-
That paragraph from Esdras, I was, yeah. I was
Yes.
saying,
You got one.
Esdras said it's got 4.
Rudy, you want a straw to get the crumbs? To suck up the crumbs?
He'll lick it out.
Just use your tongue. Okay,
Trust me, he will.
There's a chameleon.
so all of these, right, so we have a bunch of truth or trulies or
You
verilies.
got a whole bunch, more than
Yeah.
4.
In that one paragraph, there's 4.
There's one in that fourth, yeah.
In that one
4
paragraph.
statements.
Right.
Yeah.
That, okay. Well, keep in mind that the paragraphs are a little bit arbitrary, a little bit.
Yeah.
That it's all
Yeah.
one
Right.
bracha.
Yeah, right.
From Emes V'Yatziv V'Nachon
Right.
until Baruch Atah Hashem Gal Yisrael,
So tell one.
it's
bro-
one bracha. I'm going to say the reason we have paragraphs is because we finish, the Chazan says out loud.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how it goes. Okay, so
In order to.
that is the mystical meaning of the 4 times the word truth occurs in blessing, true and certain. Okay, go ahead.
In order to couple, the feminine partsuf has to be developed to the point where it is of equal stature with the male partsuf. This, as we have seen previously, is accomplished by the male partsuf transmitting his intellect to the female partsuf, so they can be of one mind and couple completely. This is perhaps reflected in the teaching that before marital relations, the husband must gladden his wife with words, helping her focus on the mitzvah they are about to perform.
So she should relax, be calm, look forward.
Whisper sweet nothings.
Yes.
Nothing, yeah. The daled given to Leah is the 4 parts of the intellect. The numerical value of the daled is 4. Chachma, Bina, and Das, which divides into 2. the sources of Chesed and Gevurah with Das. The blessing recited after the morning recitation of the Shema, linking the Shema to the Amida, begins, true and certain it is. The word true, or the adverb truly, which is the same word, emes, in Hebrew appears 8 times in this blessing. True and certain, established and enduring. Truly, the Hashem of the universe is our King. His words are living and eternal. Your word is good and eternal in truth and trustworthiness. Truly, you are Hashem, and the Hashem of our fathers. Truly, happy is the man who heeds your commandments. Truly, you are the master of your people. Truly, you are the first and you are the last. Truly, you redeemed us from Egypt. Number 8. The first 4 instances of truth in this blessing refer to the 4 aspects intellect given to Leah for the purpose of coupling. The second 4 refer to the aspects of intellect given to Rachel. The mystical significance of the Yud is also that the Yud is used to spell out the name Ekya, which receives the embryo. The name Ekya, as we know, is associated with the Sephira of Bina. Bina is the parts of Ima. Bina, as the parts of Ima, is the mother and receives the seminal insight from Abba and develops it in her womb into a full-grown intellectual structure. These Yuds...
Hold on. So it's a Yud that when you expand the spelling of the name Ekia, that the Hey, the 2 Heys in Ekia, are spelled Hey Yud. Because, of course, we've seen that the Hey, when you expand the spelling, can be Hey Aleph, Hey, or Hey Yud. So here, it's talking about expanding, using Yuds to expand the Hey.
So you have 4 Yuds. These Yuds also allude to the fact that in them are finished the 10 names Havaya that act as feminine waters. These 10 names Havaya are the names used to make Zer Anpin into a complete partzuf of 10 spheres.
Okay, not sure what that is.
In any case, from this Dalet positioned with its back to Zer Anpin, when it faces him and receives the seminal drop, it becomes the name Havaya spelled out to equal 45 and is called the closed mem, just as Bina encloses the Yud of Chachma within it.
Huh?
Yud encloses Chachma within it?
It has Bina,
Hold on.
and Bina encloses the Yud of Chachma within it.
Bina encloses.
The Dalid.
No, I think he's talking about 14. Dalet, positioned with its back,
Zer Anpin.
Zeron, and when it faces him and receives the drop, it becomes,
Bina encloses the Yud of Chachma.
yeah, but that's that's an analogy.
Right.
What's
But
going-
last week we spoke about the closed mem, Jim.
Yes,
Right. Okay,
So you said you weren't here.
I wasn't here.
right, it wasn't here.
So I gave a long-winded explanation,
I see, okay,
as only rabbis and lawyers can do,
yeah. It's okay,
But it was quite intelligent.
comes with the territory.
as opposed to the lawyers.
Right.
So,
Which is just verbose.
We get paid more.
yes, you guys get paid.
Go ahead.
So the
Better hours too, probably.
we spoke about the difference between the closed mem and the open mem. Obviously, we know that the open mem is used at the beginning or middle of a word. The closed closed mem is used at the end of the word, and we mentioned that there's
Talked
a
about the mem being in the middle of the word in Yeshayahu in that one pasuk.
yeah. We mentioned that there's a
I forgot what the word was.
but before that, we mentioned that there's a nursery rhyme in the Talmud, that the Talmud says such things have never been heard since the days of Yehoshua ben Nun, and it was given over by 3 kids. And by kids. So it was like a kid's
Yeah.
rhyme, but they said such wisdom. And then what they said, the significance of the mem was that the open mem refers to like open statements or open revelation of God. God says, "Let there be light," and so on. Things that are open, and the closed mem would be statements that are too esoteric, that can't be revealed. So the closed mem is a much higher type of divine energy, and you're right. We said that and I can tell you, I've been through the whole Tanakh. I don't think there's one place where we mix up any of the 5 final letters. The Man Sapach, Mem Nun Sadik Pei Chav, not one place where there's out of place except for one, and that's Lamar Be Hamisra Ule Sholom Ein Kates, referring to either King Chizkiah, who was a righteous king, or to who was a son-in-law of the prophet Yeshaya, or who is also his uncle, by the way, or it is reference to Mashiach. And that's the closed mem where it says Lamarbe Hamisra, for grand nobility, or for grand bureaucracy, not meant in a bad way. For grand reign, REIGN. For grand imperialism, Lamarbe, abundant. Ulusholem Kates, and for infinite peace. I also mentioned that it's not only Jewish teachings. Does anyone go home and Google? I mentioned you can go home and Google it. Yeah, this didn't pass by the Christian scholars either, this anomaly.
No.
If you Google, you'll be able to see it. So, in any case, that's the closed mem. If we're talking about the time of Mashiach, the closed mem, when things that are typically have been concealed now become opened up, now become part of the
Okay. Got it?
part of the
Lands.
game plan. So that is what we said about the closed mem. Havaya 45, we know, corresponds to Ze'er Anpin, and it's with the spelling, I think the most efficient of all spellings. It's Hey Aleph and Hey Aleph. The Hey gets spelled out with Hey Aleph. Okay. Go ahead, Alan.
Now, when it is positioned with its back to Ze'er Anpin, it possesses only one hinge and one door, as we have explained elsewhere, regarding the 5 states of Gevurah.
So last week we talked about the Dalid, I think the mem, a closed mem, is made up of 2 Dalids,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And what does the word Dalid mean?
Door.
Delet, door. Has a few meanings. But one of them is Delet, door. So the mem is made up of 2 doors. And the letter Dalid, that little thing on the back, is like a hinge for the door to open and close. So in its position with the back to Ze'er Anpin, it only has 1 hinge and 1 door. Okay, go ahead.
The feminine partsuf initially possesses only the 5 states of Gevurah. It receives the 5 states of Chesed from the male partsuf. The hinge, 1, and the door, Dalet 4, add up to 5. But when she faces Ze'er Anpin, she receives the second hinge in the form of the 5 states of Chesed. A door then issues from her, serving to contain the light, and thus there is a hinge for each door. She is then ready for intercourse. Since she is a closed vessel and will not lose or miscarry the seminal drop of light that will be deposited in her. He's not there.
Huh?
That should be deposited. Will be deposited in her, yeah. Okay?
Okay.
Corresponding to all... What?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask, Jordan, go ahead, corresponding.
Corresponding to all this, the groom has to do to her finger. Corresponding to all this, the groom has to do to her finger, for the yesod is only for her benefit. So the male yesod, male consciousness drive for self-actualization that propels it to seek expression, is fulfilled only when the consciousness that is developed to this point, beginning with Abba, through Ima, into Zeranpin, is deposited into a vehicle for expression that will express it properly and not spill it to an undesirable context. Parentheses, closing, corresponding to the death inherent in the doorway, death inherent in the doorway as above. Thus, the female partziv has to have a closed womb that, as above all, will contain the seed. The groom therefore places the ring on the bride's finger, signifying the seal with which he closes her reproductive powers and dedicates them to his particular soul slant on the divine imperative to make the world into a home for God. By courting her before marriage and gladdening her throughout marriage, he brings their common soul root to the forefront of her consciousness and makes her his partner in promulgating the divine image in consciousness.
Okay.
Got that?
Yeah, got it.
What does that have to do with the ring on the finger?
That's what it says.
It's sealing.
Closed,
it's
sealed.
closing. It's
Close of the
sealing.
womb.
It's a seal mechanism. It seals.
Close the womb.
Closing the
Like
womb.
the closed mem,
Like the closed mem.
Like the closed mem. It seals.
and like the womb, which is
It
closed.
keeps it keeps it sealed. The reproductive process sealed. Keeps it closed. And so like the closed mem, and even more so. I keep going back to what we learned with the in our other class with the circles of man, of woman circling the seven
times.
man, the husband circling with
No,
the
wife-
ring.
yeah. The wife circles the husband.
Wife circles 7 times. The husband circles with the ring, and Hashem circles with the chuppah. All forms of sealing, all forms of closure.
Enclosure.
Closure, but it creates a transcendence, a transcendental closure within it, because there you have expressions of eternity. You go beyond the self. You go beyond time. So that's the secret of the closure of the mem. I think being here, and also the sealing. You're sealing. If that vessel is sealed, then it has a place. It has a place and purpose. If it's open, it's like all over the place and can't contain. So this way it's sealed.
Very important here that it has to be contained.
It has to be contained. It has to be contained. Otherwise, we're back to tohu.
Directed, focused and directed.
Focus and directed. Otherwise, we're back to tohu. We're sealed.
Where there's no containers.
Where there's no containers. There's no vessels.
All right.
I mean, that's.
It's a
getting
little verbose.
It's verbose, but that's what I hear. See, I don't know.
But it's like containment and saying, and by placing the ring,
Yeah, it's a way of.
that dedicating
Right.
this woman for himself.
And she for him. It's a dual. It's a double process. It isn't. That's why I said it's like the husband and the wife. They circle each other.
Yes. She circles physically, and he circles her with the ring.
Yes.
So, last week we touched upon the idea this idea of betroth. So in Jewish law, there are two stages to marriage. The first stage is where the woman is married to him to the exclusion of everybody else. And she's considered married.
She's off limits.
Yes, but she's
Technically not married, she's off limits.
if they want to break it off, they need a get.
Right.
So she is legally married with the first stage, which is giving the ring.
Mhm.
We went through this last week, but if you have questions, please ask.
I thought giving you the ring is a kedusha.
I thought that
It's
was
kiddushin. It's the first stage of marriage, and she is considered married. It's not an engagement.
What's these, before the siyun? What's,
The first stage is called kiddushin. The second stage is called nisuin.
the suing comes after kedusha?
Yes. But since there are two stages, we often translate it as engaged. What does betrothed mean in the dictionary?
betrothed.
Betrothed.
Means like
Wed.
promise to, so to speak. Promise to.
It's an intention, it's an intention.
Yeah. it's-
So betrothed is not an accurate translation.
I think-
And he said at the beginning when he says this, we call it betrothal, but it's really
look it
not
up?
accurate. He did mention that.
It's more like an acquisition, and the transaction comes afterwards.
Well, it's an
A person to whom
Yes.
one is engaged.
huh?
A person to whom one is engaged.
What's betrothal?
That's betrothal.
That's betrothed.
It's an acquisition.
What's
but
betrothal?
Betrothal.
It's the process of.
Well, it has to be a legal transaction.
It's an acquisition. It's like a purchase and sale agreement, but the actual consummation is when you.
But he's-
Betrothal is a formal
reason-
engagement to be married.
Okay, thanks.
Engagement.
It's an engagement. The
Formal
reason why I
engagement.
don't want to say that is because the husband is not acquiring this woman. It's a transaction, but and there are similarities to a business transaction, but it is not he does not acquire her.
It's an engagement, according to what I said.
Betrothal is,
Yeah.
but kiddushin is not an engagement. Kiddushin is marriage. Marriage has two stages. It is the first stage of marriage.
Awesome.
Yes, Rudy.
No,
There is a transaction. What's the
this
transaction?
is a transaction. You have a kasuma. I mean, that's the.
Yes, the transaction is that at this point, that she is married to this man, and if afterwards, if someone else goes, let's do it differently, okay? The people get engaged. They're going to be married in 3 months.
They're off the market. They're done. No one can go after that person.
If people get engaged,
Yes.
and they're going to get married in 3 months,
Are we talking about betrothal or kedushin?
there's an engagement
we
party,
talking
a
about?
regular engagement.
No, what are you referring? Are you focused
Engagement.
now on betrothal or kedushin?
Not yet kiddushin. They didn't do kiddushin yet.
So it's betrothal.
Kiddushin happens at the chuppah, at the wedding.
Right.
That's-
So it's
that's-
betrothal.
3 months before the wedding.
Yeah, kedushin is the
The
ring.
wedding.
Yeah.
The ring is at the wedding
Yes, it's
ceremony.
kedushin, but betrothal is like the transaction. You're bringing two parties together that are
It's
going
an
to
engagement.
engage in
It's an
a
engagement.
transaction,
And,
and then
and it could
the
take place.
consummation occurs during the kedushin process.
Well, it could.
I'm
That's what
confused.
betrothal is.
I'm confused because betrothal means an engagement that they agree that they're going to get married,
Right.
but people often call kiddushin betrothal, which is a misnomer.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
not.
Okay,
So that's
we
why I'm
agree.
confused,
Yeah, so we know.
and that's why I want to be clear.
No, yeah. The
So
betrothal-
people get-
I'm
The
calling
betrothal is
kedushin
number
the
one.
Consummation. It's the consummation.
Kedushin is at the chuppah.
Yes, I understand, but we're.
So if people get-
talking
Not
about the word
consummation.
betrothal.
Well, consummation,
Not in that sense.
sexual
I'm
consummation can
talking
take
about
place
it in that
earlier,
sense.
okay? That's what this is gonna tell us.
So if
but
people
It
have
can
if
take
people
place in
say
betrothal.
let's
It
get
doesn't
married,
nowadays,
Yes.
but
they make a party, an engagement party,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sometimes,
And
yeah.
2 weeks later, she decides, I don't want to marry him, and someone else comes along, and they have a chuppah right there. They have a chuppah. He gives her the ring, and so on. She's married to the second guy. She's not married to the first guy. There's nothing there. I think,
The engagement didn't do anything then.
huh?
That means the betrothal didn't do anything.
The engagement
The engagement is null and
does
void.
means has
Nothing.
no legal standing.
Okay.
A betrothal is an agree to agree. You're
Got it.
agreeing
Agreement to
agree.
get married.
Yes, you're agreeing
I think
to agree.
a relative of mine, if I'm not mistaken, had an engagement party, and at the engagement party met another girl, and broke off with his.
That happens.
Yeah.
Broke off with
Quite
his.
often.
Huh?
I hear about that quite often.
Yeah. No, this is an old story. It's part of the. Not and a relative, not my family, but a relative. It's part of the lore. So, any case, the so now on the other hand, if people have a chuppah, and he gives her the ring and says Harei Mekudeshes Li,
Married.
They're married.
they're married. So that if something happens, there's an earthquake, they never finish the chuppah. So they've just done that. The rabbi said a bracha.
it's
He gives her the ring.
They're done.
Done.
And then,
It's done.
they never continued it for whatever reason. And then someone comes
official.
along and gives her a ring and says, "Hey, let's get married."
You're
She
gonna
says,
have
"Good
it,
idea."
get.
It has
Get.
You have to get a get.
Get.
right. If someone wants to marry her, it has no validity. He's giving it to a married woman.
Yeah, you
Right.
have to have it get.
So when we say transaction, when he gives her the ring, that is the first stage of marriage.
Right.
Over here, I think they're going to call it betrothal. They call it betrothal here, but at the beginning he said that it's not really an accurate term. Because usually when we say betrothal, we mean just
Betrothal.
getting engaged.
Longo, betrothal.
Betrothal.
Okay.
Usually when we say betrothal, but this is how we say it in Chicago.
You speak weird in Chicago, what can I say?
Usually, when you say betrothal, we mean just an engagement.
Try and help
But
the
when we're
guys, which
talking,
you get.
I have an answer for everything.
I know.
I am the consummate wise guy.
Oh, my.
But when
No comment.
But when we were talking about the legal issues and stuff, so they call kiddushin betrothal, but it's really not inaccurate. So here, when he says betrothal, he means the kiddushin.
Okay.
Okay? It's a very, very important distinction and clarification.
Yes, okay.
And that in Torah, when a woman is betrothed, she is married.
Okay.
The term,
After the kiddushin,
he talks, he's got kedushin.
After the kedushin.
But his kedushin, and he's using the term.
after kiddushin,
Okay.
she's married.
So that's the,
So it's a misnomer.
it's.
Right.
It's a problem in the translation into English, I think.
Yes, and that's why I prefer not
'Cause
to use.
the word, the Hebrew is.
I prefer not to use the word
So how
betrothal.
would you translate kedushin into English?
First stage of marriage. I think
the
it's the
Hebrew is very
exclusivity
clear.
trade.
So-
It's a stage. It's the exclusivity stage
Hopefully.
where she becomes where she's
that's-
not able to marry anyone
That's
else.
really-
But then they don't start living together until he welcomes her to his house,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chuppah, however you want to call
But
that.
the kedushin is right in the Hebrew, betrophal's in the English, and I think it's just misplaced.
1 minute.
The idea talks about an exclusivity as it's explained.
He,
in the next
I think he
paragraph.
explained it in the beginning. Yeah, the very first paragraph on 981.
He did, he said it may not be the correct.
Right.
9 what?
In Jewish
981.
law, betrothal is not simple engagement, but rather a legally binding relationship that establishes a quasi-marital bond between
Top
the
paragraph.
betrothed couple. The marital bond is not fully actualized until marriage, nisuin, which occurs when the couple first engages in marital
Right.
relations.
Yeah, it's a legally binding
Right.
relationship, but he's equating betrothal and kedushin, which is,
Which is, personally, I prefer not to use that word. So here's something that you brought up last week, which I didn't want to get into. We know these things from different places in Torah. Torah says, Ki yikach isha uvaila. If a man takes a woman or marries a woman and I guess is intimate with her. Literally, he comes to her, but means that they're intimate. From here, we see that the kiddushin can be done through intimacy. Practically speaking, and that's in the Torah. Practically speaking, they didn't meet that day. They've already known each other for a few months. He says, let's have kiddushin. Fine, let's get married. He says to a few witnesses, he says, I'm now going to betroth my wife. Like we always say, Hareyat mekudeshes libat tabasu. You are hereby married to me with this ring. Instead of that, he says, you are hereby married to me through this. You will be hereby married to me through the intimacy that we'll do. And then 2 witnesses, they wait outside. They go into the room, the bridal chamber, whatever you call it, and consummate. That is kiddushin. Okay, with that she becomes forbidden to marry anyone else or to be with anyone else, and legally marriage to anyone else doesn't happen, and then they don't start living together. They can't continue having relations until he says to her, until they do the next stage, which apparently would probably be that he welcomes her to his house. We have chuppah. Chuppah has a few things. We do all of them. So that is in the Torah. However, since it says ki yikach ish, if a man takes a woman, literally, the word is if he takes.
Right?
Huh?
Didn't I say that before?
What?
Yeah.
It's an acquisition. Told you, and you said no.
I said it's a transaction. There's a reason why I don't use that word.
Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
So it says if he takes a wife, that's the Torah's words. And elsewhere, I think Yirmiyah bought property in his hometown of Anatot, and it uses the word there. Kach, he paid money for a field, so it says the same word. So here too, that it says we understand that kiddushin can also happen through money or something of value. And then the Torah talks about a woman getting divorced and getting remarried, and we know the divorce has to be with a document. So we understand that the kiddushin can also happen through a document. And so one of them is explicit in Torah, and 2 of them are through rabbinic interpretations. So that so kiddushin can occur through money or of something of value, through a document, or through intimacy. And the custom is already for thousands of years to use money, and we don't do through intimacy, as the Torah mentions. But we use money. That's why we give a ring. The custom also is and from that the custom is to give a ring. Already of centuries or thousands of years. So do you give a finger ring or a nose ring? Who else gave a ring? When Yehuda was traveling after his wife died, and Tamar was disguised,
Yeah, right.
what did he give her?
His ring.
His ring.
Three things.
His signet ring.
His signet ring. Yes. So we use anyway. So the custom is to use a ring, and that is kiddushin. And then and then in the olden days, they would do the kiddushin at one point, and then wait a year and prepare for the wedding, and the actual wedding would be a year later, a year and a Wednesday. If she was already married, it would be a year and a Thursday. And then they would celebrate Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday morning, go back to work.
Okay. the proof of this.
So anyway, so nowadays we do it all together. We make a little break. We have the we read the ksuba in the middle, and if the rabbi gives a speech, that's the time. So in order to break between kiddushin and the nisuin. So then nisuin is the chuppah, the actual canopy, the sheva brachas, and then going to the yichud.
When do the
afterwards.
concept of brachas come into play? Of having it 7 days also?
Good question.
Because you just said 4 days, you just said Thursday,
For
go back
someone
to-
who's already married.
I thought it was
Okay,
after,
they said when-
after the marriage. Yeah.
Well, it is rabbinic.
Yeah.
That being said, the Medrash says that Hashem took the cup and recited the Sheva Brachas for Adam and Chava. I don't think it's the same words we have today, because today we say, just as Hashem, you rejoice with in Gan Eden.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to,
But it does say Hashem did Sheva Brachas, and the angels, I forgot what they did, their role. They stood around and watched. And it says also Hashem prepared Chava for the chuppah. How did he prepare her? Help her with the wedding dress? She didn't have a wedding dress. She got married in the
Rough.
suit that she was born
Born
in.
in.
Right. So,
al natural,
a what?
al natural.
Al natural.
Al
So he didn't help her with her dress.
Birthday suit.
Birthday suit, yes.
But it does say he helped her, and specifically, he braided her hair.
Very nice.
That was a dress.
Hashem braided
Long
her hair so she would look nice for the chuppah. What?
Interesting.
So that's two bits. And then the other answer is this week's parsha. Lavan tricked Yaakov and gave him
Leah.
Leah. And then Yaakov came and made a
The pact work was 7
threatened
more.
to sue him and all this stuff.
Yeah, they were 7 more years
No, but
for,
1 week.
Yeah, what?
1 week.
he married her in
Rachel
in 1 week.
He
1
said,
week.
And then
finish
worked 7
this.
more years, yeah.
Yes, he said, finish this week of Sheva Brachas.
Yeah.
You can marry Rachel, and I'll trust you to work for me
In another
in
sense.
arrears
Yeah,
7 years.
yeah,
for another 7 years. So from there, we see that they had a week of Sheva Brachas.
yeah.
Okay,
Although, I guess it's rabbinic, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that Yaakov wouldn't do it.
right,
He was a rabbi too, so.
right.
So,
Yes.
what? Really?
I didn't say it. I didn't-
Okay.
He's in pain. He's in pain. He's in pain. He's shoveled, and he's having surgery where he's shoveled, so he's in pain.
You were shoveling
Right here.
your elbow?
He shoveled.
I use my
twice.
hands.
He shoveled for 20 minutes today and the day before, and he's having surgery.
That's it, just 20 minutes
It's
each
a
day.
little bit of a. How
That'll
can he
remove
do
the
that?
pain.
I hope so.
See, right there. He's in pain, right there.
What time's the appointment?
Let's play a game. Finish the word.
7:15.
Let's play a game. Finish the word. P-U-T.
Put,
Yeah.
pudding?
Yeah. Anyway, that's why he's moaning.
Z.
I was
That's
going
why
to ask
it's
you,
funny.
is it Z?
Yeah, I knew
He
it.
tells you before you're here.
Okay.
20 minutes.
I'm gonna be there
I don't have
7:15 in the
surgery
morning
tomorrow. Where?
for
Here where I
9:15
shoveled. I
surgery.
shoveled it.
Yeah.
And I'll be done around 11.
I mean, I cleaned up. I did this. but-
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyways, that is a brief overview about the about Kiddushin
Okay.
and Nisuin.
The proof
Okay,
of this is that it is possible to betroth Kedushin as well through intercourse. As we have said, there are 3 ways a man can betroth, I'd say engage, but that's a different word.
No, I think this is
Or
more than engaged.
Kedushin, or Kedushin, a woman, one of which is through intercourse, although this is never done nowadays and probably was only rarely done in olden days. It was technically possible in more innocent times for a man to take 2 qualified witnesses, have them watch him say to his bride to be Kedushin to me through this act of intercourse according to the laws of Moses and Israel, and then be secluded with her. This would then be Kedushin and would have to, then they would be betrothed, it says, I don't know the past tense, and would have to separate until she had time to prepare her dowry, make arrangements for actual wedding, back in those times 12 months later. The intercourse they would conduct after the wedding. Their second would then formalize the marriage completely.
If I'm not mistaken, this was so much discouraged in the times of the Talmud that someone was flogged for doing kedushin through
Intercourse.
gamogenesis.
The point
And Jim,
yeah,
there's a plaque over there.
there's a plaque.
Yeah, there's a
A lot of
plaque. I'll
plaques
show you
over
from later, up on the wall from someone who passed through here in earlier times, and when he got married, he wanted the rabbi to allow him to do kiddushin through intercourse.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
They didn't allow it, I hope.
the rabbi told him, find another rabbi. But he's not playing with the full deck.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll check it out.
Unless, maybe he meant if it's like in Intercourse, Pennsylvania,
No, I don't think so.
that would be okay.
All right. So, the point of this is that Kedushin, and this is a good place for it, is in order to focus a female onto one specific male, thereby close her mind, so to speak, to all others, various possible ways of spreading divine consciousness, that is men. The fact this can be accomplished by an act of intercourse indicates that betrothal is for this purpose. Okay. Now, next.
This makes everything sound so romantic,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The ring
Ay, ay, ay.
signifies her yesod. This is what I was saying, which encompasses and contains the light within her. It's a seal. Her yesod is
Is
her
her-
womb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seal.
it's a seal.
O-ring.
Oh.
Oh.
Ovary. Yes, I heard that. When the yud of the hinge is added to her via yesod, she is called the closed mem, which you raised. Thus we have the yud mem, and she is called the C.
We had more of this
The
last
C.
week.
The C.
S-E-A.
We had more of this last
C.
week. I don't remember what it was. Yam.
Yam.
The yud and then mem makes yam.
Yeah.
Okay. C. The closed mem is the image of the safe closed womb that develops and nurtures the embryo. The numerical value of mem is 40, and it takes 40 days for the embryo to form. When the embryo reaches full term, the closed mem changes into a regular open mem, and birth occurs. The word for C, yam, is spelled yud mem. The C is an appellate for malchus, since just as all rivers run into the sea, malchus is the final repository for all the lights of the preceding 9 Sifirot that flow into it in order to be transformed and transmitted to a lower level of reality, which is the outside world. The formula, be betrothed to me, and that's back in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
What beginning?
The
When you say Harei Mekudeshes Li Kedas Moshe Yisrael,
yeah, right.
Probably, yeah.
It's Kedushin again.
Did you say the word appellate?
That's what I said.
As in
Appellate.
As an appellate court?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think he meant appellation.
no, it's as in a metaphor.
yeah, it's different. I don't think it's proper here. I think it's appellation.
I think it's appellation.
I think it's appellation, because appellate is a plea,
Right.
and appellation is
I
different.
think he means appellation.
Okay, I think the word is wrong. It should be appellation,
Okay.
not appellate, because
You wanna-
appellate.
go
is-
ahead.
Appellate is a plea, as I remember, because I'm doing one next week. So
Yeah, you said.
appellation. I'm doing 2 actually. Appellation. Yeah.
The action of giving a name to a person or thing is
Yeah.
appellation, but it also means
Having the power to review judgment.
means designation.
That's it.
Appellation means.
Having the power to review and change decisions of lower court?
Yep.
That's to appeal. That's appellate. That's.
It's a wrong word.
This is the wrong word.
It's a wrong
And
word.
identifying name or title,
Yeah, it's a word.
appellation.
You're giving a
The
designation.
sea is a designation
It's like
for
when-
Malchut,
when
just as all
Adam-
rivers run into
when
the sea.
Adam named the animals,
It's
he was
it's
giving
it's
an
clearly
He was
appellation.
designating, he
You're,
was giving a
boom, you're
designation.
saying this is a giraffe.
Right.
Like-
A twisting road that deserved the appellation Sidewinder Lane.
Yeah, you're naming
So
it.
appellation
You're
fit-
naming it.
Should be
Appellation.
Appellation fits here?
Appellation fits, not appellate,
Okay.
okay?
You guys use Merriam-Webster?
We use Google Webster.
Okay.
I
I use-
mean, I know what the words mean.
I use
so
Webster from
just
here.
Making sure.
Appellation,
Yeah, no, I didn't know. I have the,
appellation,
I have-
identifying in Merriam-Webster.
It says appellate.
I use the Merriam-Webster app. that's all.
Identifying name or of title, designation was entitled to the
Not
appellation.
Oxford?
So, so then geographical name.
Merriam-Webster is local, you know.
Okay, so blah, blah, blah.
Really?
blah.
You didn't know?
Oh, yeah, I was born Springfield.
I'm
Miriam,
from Springfield, I know where it is.
Right, so I use Merriam-Webster.
Miriam is from here.
Yeah.
And there are Miriams, if you go to Palmer and you go on the road, and there's a grave on the left, there's a big Miriam buried there. I think it's from the family. I'm not sure, it's not the one we're talking about.
Say again, in
Palmer.
Palmer?
And you're driving off the Pike and you go into Palmer, and you drive into Palmer for some reason.
On the left, there's a.
On the left, there's a cemetery, and there's a big stone.
Mausoleum or a stone.
Yeah, big
Is it
huge
stone?
stone with the word Miriam,
Miriam, probably part of the family.
part of the
Right,
family.
yeah.
Or, okay. Did you ever go to Springfield Cemetery?
Yeah,
No.
I've been there.
I drove in once just to
Yeah, I've
see.
been there.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's worth to
huge.
go in. It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
I do
There's
like
some
the
old,
cemetery.
older,
History.
people used to do grave rubbings in there.
Grave rubbings?
They rub.
They rub the stones.
Rub the stones, particularly the oldest
to
graves.
get the impression.
You get an impression,
And then what?
Then you can make a picture out of
Make a
it.
picture out of it.
do you-
There are artistic thingy.
There is. I only went once. Do
Yeah.
you know where it is?
Yeah.
Next to that apartment building at the bottom of Main Street?
No idea where it is. Wait, the bottom of Main Street.
Not Maine.
Bottom of Maine. No, at the bottom of Maine.
Near McDuffie.
Near McDuffie.
If you
Yeah,
go
yeah,
past,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
Maple.
Maple.
On Maple.
Maple Street, not
Maple
Main
Street.
You taught at
Maple.
McDuffie.
Yes.
So at that intersection, you know the
Maple.
intersection
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it comes
Maple
in?
and- Maple
On the
and
left
Central.
there, if going towards, yes,
On Central.
yes.
On Central? No, on Maple.
Off of
Maple goes up, Maple goes,
Not up the hill.
As soon as,
171 Maple Street.
as soon as you,
What?
It's not up the hill.
171
It's
Maple
Maple.
before you go
Okay.
up the
There's an
street,
I know where it
entrance
is.
there's an entrance
There's
next
an
to the,
entrance.
next to the apartment building.
across the street from the medical offices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diagonally about. Yeah.
So you go,
I know where it is.
it's worth to drive
Oh,
in.
yeah.
It's worth to drive in and drive around.
Mm-hmm.
It's on like a slope,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a beautiful old cemetery.
Yeah. And again, some of the images.
Oh, some of this engravings and stuff.
Engravings that are on there, my mother used to do.
Okay,
rubbers.
okay.
I'm just saying.
All right,
People
so
did
let's
that.
finish up here.
All right. Okay, let's see, okay.
The formula.
Okay, when the yud of the hinge is added to her via the yisod, she's called the closed mem. Thus we have the yud mem, she's called the C.
We did, the formula.
We did this.
Down.
Okay, down. The formula, be betrothed to me, contains 32 letters corresponding to the 32 pathways of wisdom. Okay? Behold, which is Hare, Hey, Resh, Yud, 3. You, at Aleph Tav, are betrothed, Mikudeshat, Mem, Kuf, Vav, Daled, Shin, Tav, to me, Li, Lamed, Yud, with a ring, Batabaat, Beit, Tet, Beit, Ayin, Tav, this Zo, Zayin, Vav, according to the laws of Kedat, Kaf, Daled, Tav, Moshe Mem Shin Hey, and Israel the Yisrael Vav Yud Shin Reish Aleph Lamed. I'm going to do the numbers separately. 3, 2, 6, 2, 5, 2, 3, 3, 6, 32. 32 pathways. 32 pathways of wisdom are mentioned in Sefer Yetzirah and are generally understood as the 22 letters and the 10 Sifrot. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the formula. Well,
Okay,
very nice.
so
Just for recall.
as I said, the Kedushin is like cuts everybody out of the picture.
Right.
And then I think the second stage is more of connecting her with the groom. Connecting the bride with the groom.
Yehud.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Enjoy the snow,
Okay.
Nancy.
Should I hang up on her?
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Enjoy the snow.
Bye.
Sure, this,
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
do you
Thanks
think?
for joining us.
How do you hang this one up? How do you hang this one up?
Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Oh,
Okay, I think we're off.
okay, whatever.
Oh, let's close
Turn it,
this.
Marie, turn it off. You're doing